Once upon a time, in a grand kingdom, there lived a wise and just king. He loved scholars and thinkers and often rewarded intelligence in his royal court. The court was filled with learned men who discussed governance, philosophy, and justice. In the same kingdom, there was a young man named Peter. He was intelligent and ambitious, and his biggest dream was to serve in the royal court. Unlike others who desired riches, Peter wanted to use his wisdom to help the kingdom. One day, Peter decided to visit the palace to seek an opportunity. With determination in his heart, he began his journey to meet the king. Peter lived in a small village far from the capital. His journey was long and tiring, but he never gave up. After walking for miles, he finally reached the bustling city where the grand palace stood tall. The city was magnificent, filled with merchants selling gold, silk, and spices. However, Peter did not let these distractions deter him. He kept his focus and made his way to the palace gates. There, he was stopped by a greedy gatekeeper. As Peter approached the palace entrance, the gatekeeper blocked his way. "Who are you, and why do you want to meet the king?" the gatekeeper asked. Peter replied politely, "I have traveled a long way to seek the king's help. Please allow me to enter." The gatekeeper smiled. "The king does not meet just anyone. If you want to enter, what will I get in return?" Peter understood that the gatekeeper was greedy. Thinking quickly, he said, "I promise that whatever reward the king gives me, I will share half of it with you." The gatekeeper's eyes sparkled with greed. He had seen the king give gold, land, and silk to the visitors before. He thought that if Peter received a good reward, he could give half of it to me. And then he said, "You may enter, but remember, half of your reward belongs to me." With that, Peter was allowed inside the palace. Inside, Peter was amazed by the beauty of the palace. The walls were adorned with golden carvings, and the floors shone like mirrors, and the entire hall court was decorated with diamonds and pearls. And at the center sat the wise king on his golden throne. The court was filled with noblemen, scholars, and warriors discussing important matters. Peter took a deep breath, stepped forward, and bowed before the king. The king looked at Peter and asked, "Who are you, young man? What brings you to my court?" Peter replied respectfully, "Your Majesty, I have come from a faraway village to seek your help. Please accept my request." The king nodded and said, "Speak, what do you seek?" Peter took a deep breath and said, "Your Majesty, as a reward, I request that you give me 100 lashes with a whip." The entire court fell silent. Ministers and noblemen looked at each other in confusion. The king leaned forward and asked, "What did you just say?" Peter repeated, "I request 100 lashes as my reward." The king was shocked. "Why would you ask for such a painful punishment as a reward?" Peter smiled and explained, "Your Majesty, before I entered your palace, your gatekeeper made me promise that I would share half of my reward with him. So, if I receive 100 lashes, he will be entitled to 50 of them." The court erupted in murmurs. Some ministers chuckled while others shook their heads in disbelief. The king's expression turned from confusion to anger. The king immediately commanded his guard, "Bring the gatekeeper here at once." The guards rushed outside and dragged the greedy gatekeeper into the court. His face turned pale and he trembled with fear, realizing that he had been caught. The king turned to Peter and said, "Your intelligence has exposed a dishonest man. You shall receive no punishment. Instead, your entire reward shall be given to this gatekeeper." The court burst into applause, appreciating Peter's cleverness. The gatekeeper fell to his knees, begging for mercy, but the king was firm. He said, "You misuse your power for personal gain. You will receive the full 100 lashes." The guards dragged the gatekeeper away and carried out the punishment. After the punishment, the king turned to Peter and said, "You have displayed great intelligence and presence of mind. A person like you deserves to be in my court." With a smile, he declared, "From today onwards, you shall serve as one of my ministers." His plan had worked perfectly, and he had secured a place in the royal court just as he had dreamed. This story teaches that greed leads to downfall, while intelligence and honesty bring true success. Those who misuse power for personal gain will always face justice. And so, Peter lived a life of honor and wisdom, serving the kingdom with loyalty and fairness. Thanks for watching the video. If you enjoyed this video, hit like button. And for more such stories, subscribe to our channel. Thank you and stay positive.